She demanded access to my investment portfolio so we can be transparent. I agreed and gave her view-only access. She was horrified when she watched me transferring all the assets into an irrevocable trust. I, 34 male, have been with Natalie, 31, for about 2 years. We don't live together yet. She has her apartment, I have mine. It's worked well for us, or so I thought. Quick background. I work in software development, but I was lucky enough to be an early employee at a startup that got acquired 5 years ago. Not buying a yacht money, but enough that if I'm smart about it, I could retire by 50. I've been living well below my means, driving a 2015 Honda, living in a modest apartment. Most of the money is invested. Natalie knows I have investments. She knows I'm comfortable. But we've never discussed exact numbers because honestly, it hasn't been relevant. We split dates 50-50, we don't live together, and we're not engaged. Everything changed 3 weeks ago. We were at dinner and she brought up this couple she follows on social media who document their financial transparency journey. They share everything, she said, scrolling through her phone. Every account, every transaction, total openness. That's what real partnership looks like. That's interesting, I said, focusing on my pad thai. Don't you think that's how it should be? No secrets? I guess it works for some people. She put her phone down. I want that. Want what? Access to see your investments. You're always so secretive about money. I wasn't secretive. I just didn't see why my girlfriend of 2 years needed to audit my portfolio. Why do you need to see my investments? I don't need to. I want to. There's a difference. Couples share these things. We don't share a home. We don't share bills. Why would we share investment accounts? Her face changed. That shift from pleasant to ice cold that still gives me chills. If you have nothing to hide, why won't you show me? That argument. It's not about hiding, it's about boundaries. Boundaries. She laughed, but not in a fun way. We've been together 2 years, Garrett. I've met your mother. I dog-sat your sister's labradoodle, but you won't trust me enough to show me some numbers on a screen? Here's where I probably should have held firm. Said no. Explained that financial boundaries are healthy. Instead, I tried to find middle ground. What exactly are you wanting to see? Everything. Full transparency. I want to know what our future looks like. Our future. We'd never even discussed moving in together, but she was already planning our financial future. I'll think about it, I said. That was mistake number 1. The next week was intense. Daily mentions of the transparency couple. Articles left open on my laptop when she'd come over. Casual comments about how trust is the foundation of love and secrets destroy relationships. Then came Thursday. She sat me down for a talk. I've been patient, she started, but your refusal to share your financial information with me is a red flag. What are you hiding? Debt? Gambling losses? Another family? Another family? Natalie, come on. Then show me. Prove you trust me. Give me access to your investment accounts. Full access? Why not? Unless you're planning to leave me? Are you planning to leave me? The manipulation was so obvious but somehow still effective. I felt guilty for having boundaries, so I made mistake number 2. I'll give you view-only access. You can see the accounts, see the balances, but you can't make any changes. Fair? Her face lit up. Yes, that's all I want, baby. Just to see, to know you trust me. That weekend, I set it up. Gave her read-only access to my main investment account. She could log in, see the positions, see the balance, but couldn't execute any trades or transfers. The first text came within an hour. Is this real? What do you mean? The balance. Is this actually real? Yes. Why didn't you tell me? You never asked for specific numbers. This changes everything. That should have been my warning. This changes everything. But I was still trying to convince myself she meant it in a good way. She came over that night with spreadsheets, actual printed spreadsheets. I've been thinking, she said, spreading papers across my coffee table. With your portfolio and my vision, we could do so much. I found this amazing house. It's only 1.2 million, but with 20% down. Whoa, what? For us? Our dream home. Look, I even calculated the monthly payments. You could easily afford this. Natalie, we don't even live together. But we will. And why wait? Why are you hoarding all this money when we could be building our life? Hoarding, because living modestly and investing for the future is hoarding. These are my investments. For my retirement. Our retirement. God, Garrett, why are you being so selfish? Do you not see a future with me? I should have ended it there. Instead, I said I needed time to think. The next 3 days were hell. Constant texts about houses, links to luxury cars we could afford, reservation confirmations for expensive restaurants to celebrate our new transparency. Then she showed up with her best friend Sage in tow. Sage is a financial advisor, Natalie announced. She can help us restructure your portfolio for better returns. Sage, who I'd met before and knew worked at a makeup counter, nodded seriously. I've been studying. You have too much in index funds. You need to be more aggressive. I'm comfortable with my allocation, I said, but you're leaving money on the table, Natalie interjected. Sage knows about this cryptocurrency that's about to explode. We could triple our investment. Our. The pronouns were killing me. I'm not interested in crypto, because you don't understand it. Sage explained the blockchain to him. I sat through 20 minutes of Sage badly explaining Bitcoin before I finally snapped. Enough. I'm not changing my investment strategy based on YouTube videos and Reddit posts. This is my money, my future, my decision. Natalie's face went dark. Your money? I thought we were partners. We're dating. We're not married. We're not even engaged. So I mean nothing to you? That's not what I said. It's what you implied. 2 years, Garrett. 2 years of my life wasted on someone who sees me as what? Some gold digger? She stormed out, Sage trailing behind her after grabbing the spreadsheets. That night, I couldn't sleep. Something felt wrong, really wrong. So I did what any paranoid person would do. I checked my investment account at 3 a.m. She'd been on it. The login history showed multiple sessions, hours at a time. She downloaded every statement, every tax document, everything she could access with her view-only permissions. But why? Update 1. Found out why she wanted all those documents. Monday morning, I woke up to 47 missed calls. Not from Natalie, from my mother, my sister, my brother, cousins I haven't talked to in years. My mom's voicemail, Garrett, what's this about you hiding millions from your girlfriend? Call me immediately. Turns out, Natalie had sent a mass email to my entire family. Subject line, the truth about Garrett's deception. She'd attached screenshots of my investment accounts with helpful annotations, circles around the balances, arrows pointing to dividend payments, comments like, he told me he was comfortable. This is what he meant by comfortable. The email was a masterpiece of manipulation. She painted herself as the devoted girlfriend who just wanted honesty. Me as the secretive hoarder who didn't trust her enough to share my wealth. She even included a section about how she'd been budgeting carefully to pay her half of dates, never knowing he could have easily covered everything. My phone rang. My sister. Is this real? She asked. The money? Yes. The story? No. Garrett, she says you've been lying to her for 2 years. I never lied. I just didn't share specific numbers. We're not married. We don't even live together. She seems to think you were planning a future together. Based on what? Her deciding that after seeing my balance? My sister sighed. Look, I get it, but maybe you should have been more upfront. Even my own family was buying into her narrative. I spent the entire morning fielding calls, explaining that keeping your finances private while dating isn't a crime. But Natalie wasn't done. Tuesday, I got a text from my building manager. Someone had called claiming to be my fiancé, asking about adding her name to my lease. When they'd said they'd need documentation and my permission, she'd accused them of discrimination and threatened to sue. Wednesday, she showed up at my office. Security called up to warn me. There's a woman here who says she's your fiancé. She has a box of what she claims are her belongings from your apartment. I went down to deal with it. Natalie was in the lobby with a cardboard box, tears streaming down her face. 2 years, she said loudly, making sure everyone could hear. 2 years of my life, and you throw me out like garbage because I asked for honesty. Natalie, you never lived with me. What belongings? She opened the box. It had maybe 3 items. A toothbrush, a phone charger, and a sweater I'm pretty sure was actually mine. This is all I have left of us, she wailed. Security looked uncomfortable. Coworkers getting coffee were staring. She was causing a scene, which was exactly her intention. Let's talk outside, I said. Once we were on the sidewalk, her tears mysteriously dried up. Take me back, she said. This is stupid. We're good together. You sent financial documents to my entire family because they deserve to know who you really are. Who I really am. I'm someone who saved and invested responsibly. That's it. That's my big crime. You're someone who hoards wealth while people around you struggle. You make $75,000 a year, Natalie. You're not struggling. Compared to you, I am. Do you know how it feels to find out the person you love has been hiding millions? I wasn't hiding anything. I gave you access when you asked. View-only access. Like I'm some employee who can't be trusted. Apparently that was the right call. She slapped me, right there on the sidewalk in front of my office building, then immediately started crying again. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I love you so much, and you're throwing it all away. I walked back inside without another word, told security she wasn't allowed in the building, went back to my desk and made a decision. If she wanted to watch my account so badly, I'd give her something to see. Update 2. Remember how I gave Natalie view-only access to my investment account? Yeah, I never revoked it. Why? Because I wanted her to watch what came next. See, after the office incident, I knew this was only going to escalate. The emails to my family, the scene at work, trying to add herself to my lease, this was just the beginning. So I called my lawyer. Yes, I have a lawyer. When you have assets to protect, you need professional help. I want to set up an irrevocable trust, I told him. Any particular reason for the urgency? I explained the situation. He whistled low. Yeah, let's get that done ASAP. Once the assets are in an irrevocable trust, they're protected. She can't claim them in any future legal action. She's already claiming we were basically married, calling herself my fiancé. Good thing we're in a state that doesn't recognize common law marriage. And 2 years of dating with separate residences? She's got nothing. We set up the trust that week. Named my sister as trustee, with specific instructions for distributions. Basically, I'd receive a set monthly amount for living expenses, and the rest would stay locked up tight until I hit certain age milestones. Here's the beautiful part. I did all the transfers during market hours, when I knew Natalie would be watching. The first transfer notification hit at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. Transfer of 500 shares of VTI to Garrett's irrevocable trust, pending. My phone buzzed immediately. Natalie, what are you doing? I didn't respond. Transfer of 300 shares of VXUS to Garrett's irrevocable trust. What the hell are you doing? Stop this right now. Those are our investments. Transfer of 1,000 shares of BND to Garrett's irrevocable trust complete. Her calls started coming in. I let them go to voicemail while I methodically moved every single asset. By noon, she was texting in all caps. You can't do this. I'm calling a lawyer. That money is half mine. We've been together 2 years. Common law marriage is real. By 2 p.m., the transfers were complete. My investment account balance. She could still log in, she could still see the account. But now, all she could see was a big fat zero, where millions used to be. The voicemails were unhinged. You think you're so smart? You think you can just hide everything in some trust? I know my rights. I'm entitled to half of everything. My lawyer says so. What lawyer? The one she couldn't afford because she'd blown her savings on designer bags after seeing my balance? That evening she showed up at my apartment with 3 people. Sage, some guy I didn't recognize, and her mother. We need to talk, her mother said. What you're doing to my daughter is financial abuse. Financial abuse? I'm protecting my assets from someone who thinks dating for 2 years entitles them to millions they didn't earn. She invested her time in you, her mother screeched. 2 years of her youth, her prime years. She's 31, not dying, and she chose to date me. I didn't force her. The guy, who turned out to be her cousin, who knew about law stuff, tried to sound official. You can't just transfer assets to avoid your obligations. What obligations? We're not married, we're not engaged, we don't even have a shared Netflix account. She has proof of your promises. Sage chimed in. What promises? They produced printed text messages. Stuff like, I love you and can't wait for our future together. Normal relationship texts that they'd twisted into some kind of binding contract. This says, want to get Thai food tonight? How is that a promise of marriage? It shows a pattern of commitment, the cousin insisted. I laughed. Actually laughed. Please, take this to a real lawyer, see what they say. Natalie, who'd been quiet until now, suddenly broke down. I gave you everything. I loved you. How can you be so cruel? You gave me ultimatums and manipulation. You sent my financial information to my entire family. You tried to add yourself to my lease. You hit me in front of my office. That's not love, Natalie. That's entitlement. I was planning our wedding, she sobbed. I have a Pinterest board. A Pinterest board isn't a proposal. They left after more threats about lawyers and what I'd owe her. I immediately called my actual lawyer to give him a heads up. A Pinterest board? He laughed. That's a new one. Don't worry, they've got nothing. The trust is ironclad. Your assets are protected. But Natalie wasn't done. Not by a long shot. Final update. So Natalie did get a lawyer. Kind of. Turns out, when you blow through your savings on designer goods because you think you're about to marry into money, you can't afford actual legal representation. So she found someone on Craigslist. I'm not joking. This lawyer had a Hotmail address and wanted to meet at a Starbucks. I know this because she sent me a formal legal notice that was clearly written in Microsoft Word, complete with clip art scales of justice. It demanded 50% of all hidden assets and compensation for 2 years of emotional investment. The kicker? It was signed by attorney at law Jake Morrison, ESQ LLC, PhD. PhD in what? Bad forgery? My real lawyer had a field day with it. This isn't even legally formatted correctly, and you can't be both ESQ and PhD in your legal title. This guy's a paralegal at best, probably just some scammer. But the fake legal threats were just the appetizer. The main course came when Natalie decided to go nuclear. She started a GoFundMe, help me rebuild after financial betrayal, with a goal of $50,000. The description was a novel about how her high-earning tech executive fiancé had trapped her in poverty while hiding millions. She claimed I'd promised to pay for her student loans, buy her a house, and fund her small business dreams. None of which ever happened. She didn't even have student loans. She'd paid them off years ago, something she'd bragged about on our third date. The GoFundMe included photos of us from happier times, with captions like, I thought we were building a future together. And, he let me struggle while sitting on millions. She even posted a photo of my Honda with the caption, he drove this to hide his wealth while I took the bus. She has a 2018 BMW. The campaign got exactly $45. $40 from her mother and $5 from someone named Anonymous, who left the comment, lol, good luck with that. When the crowdfunding failed, she tried a new approach, my employer. She sent an email to my company's HR department. Subject, concerns about employee ethics. She accused me of financial manipulation and emotional fraud. Said I was the kind of person who couldn't be trusted with company resources if I could deceive a partner so cruelly. HR called me in. I brought my lawyer. This is clearly a personal matter, my lawyer explained. Mr. Garrett has done nothing illegal or unethical. He's being harassed by an ex-girlfriend who discovered he has investments and now feels entitled to them. I provided the emails, the fake legal notice, the GoFundMe page, security footage of her causing a scene in our lobby. HR concluded it was a personal matter and sent her a cease and desist letter, warning her that any further contact with my employer would result in legal action. That's when she made her final, stupidest move. She tried to hack my investment account. Remember that view-only access I gave her? She still had it. And she could see that beautiful dollar balance, but she wanted to see where the money went. So she tried to guess my password to get full access. After 5 failed attempts, the system locked her out and alerted me. The password she tried? Natalie Garrett 2024. Like I'd use our names as a password. Come on. I immediately revoked all her access and had my lawyer send a real cease and desist. Any further attempts to access my accounts, contact my employer, or harass my family would result in immediate legal action. She responded by having her mom call me. You've ruined her, her mother wailed. She quit her job because she thought you were getting married. She bought a wedding dress. She quit her job. Last month, she was planning to be a stay-at-home wife. I hung up. This was beyond delusional. She'd quit her job after seeing my accounts, assuming she'd locked down a meal ticket. The last I heard from Natalie directly was a long, rambling email about how I'd stolen her future and destroyed her ability to trust. How she'd have to start over with nothing. how I'd wasted the best years of her life. I didn't respond. My lawyer did. 1 week later, I got notification that she'd been served with a restraining order. She was not to contact me, my family, or my employer. She was not to come within 500 feet of my home or office. Any violation would result in arrest. The aftermath: she moved back in with her parents after being evicted from her apartment. Turns out quitting your job based on someone else's money is bad financial planning. Her financial advisor, friend Sage, distanced herself after the restraining order. The fake lawyer disappeared after threatening to sue him for impersonation. The GoFundMe was taken down for violating terms of service. My family now understands why I keep my finances private. I changed all my passwords and did a full security audit. The irrevocable trust remains ironclad. I learned something valuable from this. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. The moment Natalie saw those numbers and said, "This changes everything," she told me exactly who she was. Someone who valued my money more than me. The trust wasn't just about protecting assets. It was about revealing truth. She could have responded with, "I'm glad you're financially secure," or "This doesn't change how I feel about you." Instead, she immediately started spending money that wasn't hers and claiming ownership of a future she'd invented. Last week, a mutual friend mentioned Natalie's back on dating apps. Her profile apparently mentions she's looking for someone honest about their finances from day one and ready to build wealth together. At least she's being upfront about it now. As for me, I'm still driving my Honda, still living in my apartment, still maxing out my retirement contributions. The only difference is now my assets are protected by an irrevocable trust that no future Natalie can touch. Oh, and I deleted all dating apps. Think I'll be single for a while. Worth every penny in legal fees.